You used to get a lot of DUI cases. In fact, it was a core part of your criminal defense practice. Now, a lot of firms are experiencing a slowdown, and this isn't just isolated to 1 year. I've worked with multiple firms that have seen this slowdown, and I've spotted the patterns on why this occurs. In this video, I'm gonna break down exactly why this is happening and give you a game plan so you know how to respond, recover from this, and recover the glory days of DUI. So why is this occurring? Look, I don't want to sugarcoat this. Some of what's happening here is cultural. As we all know, people are using ride-sharing apps more than ever. There's Uber, Lyft, and even self-driving ride-sharing apps now where you hop in and there's no driver and it takes you where you want to go. That's part of it because people no longer have to make the decision of, should I drive home drunk? They can say, hey, let me call an Uber and get me home. That's happening, and that's been happening for a while. So I don't want to suggest that that is the only reason, because the bigger issue here is drinking attitudes. It's not just Gen Z. We all know Gen Z are partying less than ever, they're going out less than ever, the way they behave is a little bit different, and they're driving age now. But it's not just isolated to Gen Z. The attitudes to drinking overall have been shifting over the past few years. Let's look at some data. So this is a Gallup study, and you can see from 1997 to 2023, 60% of Americans reported drinking alcohol, but that's 54% today. So that's dropping. And it's around about the lowest point it's been in 90 years. So this is a little bit unprecedented. That's not all though, because it's the overall attitude towards alcohol is changing, and the majority of people now say that drinking in moderation is bad for their health. So people that believe it's bad for their health, you can see the percentage of people that believe that went from, in 2018, 28% to now 53% of people believe that. That's going to impact how it's perceived and how much people consume also, most likely. And then you can see the point I was making about Gen Z. It's not just isolated to Gen Z, because yeah, okay, this green line here is Gen Z and that's higher than the other age brackets, but even people in the 35s to 54, 55 and older, they also have that perception. Even those people who drink are drinking less, and the amount of alcoholic beverages consumed, you can see in 2009, let's go 2021, if it's 3.6, now it's the average is 2.8. So that's been going down and dropping. The overall units have been dropping. So what's the solution to this, and how do you recover? There's two parts. One is to maximize the demand that's already there, and two is to reposition yourself slightly. Let's go into the first part. Yes, demand has dropped, but can I honestly, hand on heart, say that firms are doing the best that they can to capture the demand that is already there? No. I've looked at over 50 websites, criminal defense websites, over the past year, and almost none of them are doing everything I'm going to talk about right now. The first thing that you need to do is to make sure that your DWI pages both rank and convert. So things are a little bit different than they were 5 years ago, and a lot of firms haven't adapted to the new landscape. So you can't just throw up a bunch of DWI lawyer city pages. If you have 5 locations, you're gonna have 5 pages for DWI lawyer. No, you need to have these pages, but what you include on the page needs to be a lot more advanced and a lot more developed than it was before. Google is looking for EEAT, which is experience, expertise, authority, trust, and your website pages for DWI need to show your real expertise, your unique opinion, and really show how you think about handling a DWI case, what's specific to your firm, specific to your process, how do you handle things differently than Bob down the road. If there's nothing on your pages that shows why you're different and how you're unique, then there's no reason for Google to say, yeah, this firm knows what they're talking about, they have unique experience, and I want to trust them and show them higher. The act of doing this and having these elements on your page is going to force Google almost to show it higher, because almost no one's doing this. So yeah, there's less DWI demand, but if your pages are optimized and written well to rank and you outrank everyone else, then that's not a problem. The second part of ranking is conversion. You can have a well-written page, but it needs to look good and it needs to be optimized to make people go, yeah, I really trust this guy and I want to click a button, phone his office and work with him. How do you do that? You have buttons strategically located on the page, so it makes it easy for them to click and call. You have videos that help you to build a connection with people before they call. So when they get on the phone, they feel like they know you already and it's easier to make the sale. You can then also include other elements like surveys and forms. And then it just comes down to how persuasive the writing is. If you have a bland vanilla page, it's not going to work as well as something punchy, well written and persuasive, obviously. So once you have those two elements, rank and convert, your pages are going to show up higher and they're also going to make people want to call you. The second thing that you can do for maximizing your opportunities is to really go hard into video. I'm going to say this very clearly. This is something that's very underutilized in criminal defense marketing right now, especially for DWI. Let's say you have 5 locations. For every single one of those locations, you should have a DWI lawyer city video. You're going to then embed that video on your DWI page. Why? Sometimes these short videos about DWI lawyer in a city are going to show up above practice area pages. Google's wanting to show video more than ever, and sometimes a short feed or a short section shows up above practice area pages. This is a way to shortcut the line without ads. If you can produce these short videos and put them on the page, what should you include in them? Again, it links back to what I was talking about before, which is your unique expertise, how you handle cases, and the legal and the little nuances you know about that specific location that nobody else knows. What does a court process look like? What kind of prosecutors are they likely to face? How does the case move? Because every place is going to be a little bit different, and you want to include the specifics of that in this little video that you're going to embed on your practice area pages and upload to YouTube. Because these days, Google is not only, as I said, placing videos above practice area pages, but its LLM called Google Gemini is pulling information from these videos and showing it in their Gemini search model, which is their AI model similar to ChatGPT. And as you know, people are all the rage right now is trying to rank in ChatGPT, rank in Claude, rank in Google Gemini AI. And this is one of the ways you can start building an AI footprint for your firm and start to get some leads from AI. AI leads convert a lot higher than even Google leads because there's a lot more contextual analysis that goes on behind the scenes before they book that call. The final part of maximizing the demand is you can't just have these DWI lawyer pages. You also need to cover DWI from multiple different angles. That means license impact, job impact, and specific DWI charges. So when I'm talking license impact, what have posts on your site like, what impact does a DWI have on my CDL license? How does a DWI impact medical professionals? So you can cover different job types and the effect that a DWI will have on different people. Why? Because they're going to be searching for that. And again, this is us preparing for AI search, because people who are searching in an AI platform are like, I'm a doctor, I just got a DWI, what's going to happen? Well, where does AI pull that from? It's got to pull that from somewhere. And if your website has this information on there, you're more likely to get a snippet potentially in an LLM like ChatGPT and get leads that way, or start at least building your footprint in these advancing and fastly advancing platforms. So the second solution pillar, so to speak, is to adjust your positioning. Now, I know a lot of firms position specifically around criminal defense and DWI. So on their homepage, they have something like criminal defense and DWI lawyer. I would suggest focusing that more on criminal defense, broadly speaking, because DWI comes under criminal defense. So the way that you speak to people on your homepage should be geared more around a premium position, holistic criminal defense firm. And you want to start not putting all your eggs in the DWI basket. You want to start building out these other high ticket, lucrative practice areas like fraud, white collar, and federal. And if you don't have deep silos of content on your site about these practice areas, I would encourage you to start building that now. Alongside your website positioning, you want to look at your Google business profiles. Some firms and agencies that work with firms decided to target DWI lawyer as the primary category. I suggest changing that to criminal defense lawyer for the same reason. DWI falls under criminal defense, and this wider net is something we need to start optimizing for going forward, because even if you're set up as a criminal defense lawyer, you're going to get DWI cases. You can put that as your secondary category. And then lastly, I encourage firms to add a low ticket practice area to capture quick conversions to the mix. What I recommend is traffic tickets. You can start selling little $52 traffic ticket cases, nothing complicated. For example, over 15 miles an hour, or if an assault occurred during that DWI or in a school zone, none of that. But I'm talking really cut and dry, quick cases that you can start generating conversions from. Why? Because that's going to allow you to get more exposure for your company and basically fulfill these smaller ticket items and upsell them to your bigger ticket cases. A funnel for traffic tickets is something I cover in a different video. Once you've done that, you've adjusted your positioning to broad criminal defense, you've changed your Google Business Profile primary category, and you've added this little funnel to upsell small ticket cases into big ones, you're going to be well positioned to move ahead as DWI maybe continues to drop. It may also go back up in the future, but you're a bit more diversified and protected, and your case inflow can remain a bit more stable over time. So you're not experiencing this lumpy criminal defense case volume for DWI. So one of our clients puts out this awesome transparency report. You can see the numbers for case outcomes, how many were dismissed and so on. But more importantly, what we handled in 2025. And you can see for my client here, DWI still made up the bulk of their criminal defense cases. 33 CJA appointments, 23 felony, other 22, misdemeanor 21, assault 21, and federal 16. So you can see this still made up the bulk of their caseload. And for this firm, criminal defense lawyer is their main Google Business Profile category, and that kind of reinforces my point from previous section. The firms that are still growing aren't relying on DWI alone. They're building broader, more resilient pipelines. In this next video, you can see how we took a criminal defense firm and expanded their practice areas into traffic tickets and family law over the course of 9 months. Check that out now.